Powered by the Montana Television Network. This is the Noon News from Montana's news leader.
Good afternoon. We're so glad you could join us before you head out for your weekend. I'm Aja Goare. After hitting major flood stage Thursday, the Clark Fork River in Missoula continues to rise today. The Missoula County Sheriff's Office released this drone video from an overflight of the biggest problem areas along the Clark Fork. Water levels now sit at 13.5 feet, and new projections indicate the river will crest above 14 feet this weekend. The Sheriff's Office says 3 homes on Harpers Bridge Road are now under an evacuation order. 10 more homes on Harpers Bridge Road are under an evacuation warning. Residents under an order have already been notified by deputies. 2 more evacuation orders were issued on Hamel Road last night. All previous evacuation orders and warnings in the Orchard Homes area remain in effect today. And safety is a top priority for authorities monitoring these flooded areas around Missoula as new hazards emerge, like downed trees and power lines. MTN's Augusta McDonald visited the flooded areas and brings us a closer look.
Here on Tower Street, water has completely overtaken these homes and properties, but there are still volunteers and property owners here piling sandbags and trying to mitigate damage to their properties. Tower Street is overwhelmed with floodwater, but that's not the only concern. Water is also approaching sandbag lines west of this area near Crim Street. With these high waters come warnings about poor water quality, downed power lines, and gas leaks. With the highest water level in years, many drift logs and other debris are floating off upstream and can cause property and personal damage if you're caught near the water.
As we get rain and as this melt-off continues, one of the areas that we ask people to just be aware of is culverts plugging up. If you see some of those kinds of things, report that as well so that we can get those cleared out and prevent any kind of damage from flooding. Of course, our main concern is public safety, and the easiest way for people to stay informed of the situation is to register for Smart 911.
While temperatures are cooler, the National Weather Service says they will climb back into the 70s next week. And if they get into the 80s, snowmelt will pick up the pace.
And those hot temperatures will just get more of that snowmelt coming out of the real high country now and add to the situation. So we're going to have to really keep a close eye on that as we go forward here in time.
Emergency management officials emphasize that it's a critical time to pay attention to hazards and report any that you see. In Missoula, Augusta McDonald for MTN News.
Thank you, Augusta. And meanwhile, firefighters rescued a transient from his camp in the middle of the Clark Fork River after he got cut off from his camp by an 8-foot channel of water. The swift water rescue team crossed the channel adjacent to the Reserve Street Bridge. Deputies evacuated the other transients from the island, and firefighters rescued the elderly homeless man. That man told MTN he's been on the island for about a month and was surprised when he awoke to find himself trapped. The fire department is arranging for a bus to take the people to a shelter in town. And rescue watercraft responded to another river rescue in Missoula after a man was swept off his raft while trying to cross the Clark Fork River. We're told the man was attempting to return to one of the berms near Reserve Street Bridge when he was swept off his raft and became stuck in the submerged trees. Rescue crews rescued the man, who was being treated for cold water exposure. Authorities are warning people to stay away from fast and dangerous water.
There's a lot of undercutting happening in and around the river area, and so with a lot of flow, the debris coming down, it's best just to stay away.
The Badger Creek Dam in Mark County has failed, releasing significant water discharge today. The dam is located between Ringling and White Sulphur Springs near U.S. Highway 12. Gallatin County Emergency Management says residents should watch for a significant increase in water flow. The flooding may affect area bridges and culverts. Use caution in flooded areas as water can be higher than it appears, sweeping vehicles and people away. Floodwaters are also rising rapidly in Helena. 10 Mile Creek has begun to cross Sierra Road, inching closer to an elementary school. And upstream, the high water has closed trails and blocked access to some parts of a park. The Red Cross has opened a shelter. Lewis and Clark County leaders, though, are ending the distribution of free sandbags tonight. With 70,000 already handed out, commissioners say the county cannot afford to spend more of the money it has set aside for emergencies. We turn now to the weather scene with Ed McIntosh. We've got more news of flooding and even snow.
That's right. We're going across the region. Everything is, we talked about all the areas, Asia, where we do have the potential for flooding going on, and that's across much of central and western Montana at this point. But as we start looking into the southern mountains of Montana and Wyoming, we have winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories into effect, and some of those through central Montana as well. We'll get into southern Wyoming and Colorado, and we're talking about the potential for strong to severe storms in that region. So our Doppler radar is showing the heavier rain right now, and some reports already over an inch around Great Falls, Lewistown, over towards Helena. As we take it through the day and into tonight, those systems will start to wind more into southern Montana, northern Wyoming, with heavy rain and the potential for mountain snow. In fact, it could be heavy at times. More on the weather coming up.
Thanks, Ed. We'll check back in a little bit later. A man is now facing charges in Great Falls following a stabbing Thursday morning. Emerson Forhorns is charged with felony and misdemeanor assault for allegedly stabbing a man. According to court documents, an argument broke out while the two men were drinking. Forhorns then allegedly stabbed the victim with a kitchen knife. Forhorns was later found at the hospital where the victim was taken and did not deny the assault. The victim's condition has not been released. The name of the Flathead County man found dead Monday after his house caught fire days earlier is now being released. The sheriff's office identified the victim as 61-year-old Mark McCorkle of Evergreen. McCorkle died in a fire at his home on Mountain View Drive. The interior of the home sustained extensive fire and smoke damage. Authorities say, though, no signs of fire were visible on the exterior of the home. No foul play is suspected, but the cause of the fire does remain under investigation. Montana Fish, Wildlife and Parks officials are investigating after 2 walleyes were found in the Missouri River with plastic zip ties in their jaws. The fish were caught near the town of Cascade and just below the Holter Dam. In one case, the plastic strip had grown into the fish's jaw, creating a deformity. FWP has received several other reports of walleye caught with the plastic strips implanted in their jaws. FWP does not put jaw tags in fish anymore because it causes damage. Anyone with information should contact wildlife officials. Proposed cuts to the Land and Water Conservation Fund pitted Montana Senator John Tester and Interior Secretary Ryan Zinke against each other before the Senate Interior Subcommittee. The fund is used to expand public access to public lands, and just last March, Congress agreed to secure $425 million for the fund, but Zinke is proposing that figure be whittled down to $8 million.
LWCF is funded at a pittance. $8 million when it should be $900 million. Why should we think that this proposal is going to be any different if it's going to be similar to LWCF?
Well, the proposal, which is bipartisan, was also a recommendation from numerous commission studies.
I gotcha.
But it also expands it, and the idea is this. It is a sound and prudent policy.
It's fine if it's done, and LWCF is a sound and prudent policy too, to take offshore drilling revenues and put $900 million towards this project in 1978 dollars, and they're not near as much now as they were in '78, and we're funding it, I don't know, 1% of what it should be.
And this is why there's 2 branches of government, and why I'm committed to work with you on it.
Since 1965, Montana has used the Land, Water and Conservation Fund to create fishing access sites and expand access to hunting areas and hiking trails in Montana. On the national front, President Trump will make history when he sits down with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un in Singapore next month. The president hopes to walk away with a deal that would denuclearize the Korean peninsula. Details of the summit are slowly emerging, but it's still unclear if Mr. Trump will have any private face-to-face meetings with the North Korean leader. The White House cautioned any provocation from North Korea before the meeting could jeopardize the summit. Still ahead on the new news, protests erupt in Gaza and tens of thousands threaten to bust through the border fence. Details next. But first, Ed has our weather forecast. Stay with us.
You're watching MTN News with Aja Goare. Storm Tracker weather with Ed McIntosh, and farm and ranch news from the Northern Egg Network. This is the new news on Q2, Montana's news leader.